children with special needs are challenged by the changes that a new school year brings. EP's annual Back to School issue presents a helpful selection of resources, guidance, tips, and methods to ease the transition back to school. Read it today at www.epmagazine.com.
Oscar Mike Radio is a proud podcast partner of Reach Across America Radio, heard every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern. They're also big supporters of the nonprofit I Got Your Six, Two Lives at Once. And with every wreath you sponsor through Oscar Mike Radio, $5 goes back to this great organization dedicated to making a difference in the lives of veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders battling PTSD. Two Lives at Once pairs these brave men and women together with dogs rescued from kill shelters. In this way, two lives are saved at the same time by saving each other. Donate now. Go to reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio to help. That's reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio.
Suicide is preventable, and each of us has a role to play in suicide prevention.
Suicide is complex. There is no single cause.
And it's not always a mental health issue. It could be loss of a job or home, financial or relationship issues, pain, or leaving the military.
Suicide does not discriminate. It affects all ages, races, and genders, veterans or not.
If you know a veteran who is struggling, connect with them. Let them know help is available.
There is quick and easy access to services in times of crisis.
Dial 988, then press 1. Talking about it is okay.
Don't keep it inside. Don't be ashamed. Don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Stools and cigarette smoke where the dive bar band's playing all the wrong notes. Them dollar bills still hanging on the wall. This ain't no place for her kind at all. She had them red bottoms on in this blue collar town. There's only two reasons why girls like her come around. She either took a wrong turn back in Austin, or she's looking for love cause she lost it. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the mood right under the neon moonlight. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being tangled this summer. Sunsets and sunrise nights have never been my thing. Hell, they might just be what I need after all. Hell, you can't find love till you fall. And she ain't used to red dirt roads, but for what it's worth, and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort. Just trying to set the mood right under the neon moonlights. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being single this summer. Single this summer.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio. My name is Travis, Marine Corps veteran and your host. Oscar Mike Radio is part of the Hoobazoo Network. You can find out more on hoobazoo.com. I want to thank my sponsors, Joyce Asack of Asack Real Estate, Army National Guard veteran Mark Holmes of Reapers Detailing Power Washing, and my supporters, all veteran-owned businesses. Well, one of them is Case On Shaving Company and Exceptional Parent Magazine. Exceptional Parent Magazine supports military and veterans family. Thank you very much. We're in the fourth quarter of the year, fourth quarter of the game for 2024, and we're in September. And I want to thank Core PR and Anna for reaching out to me, because my special guest is like a first for Oscar Mike Radio. I am talking to a true, and he'll understand this, military brat, a son of someone who served in the military, but it's also an artist, has his own music outreach going, and wrote a song about the military experience. It's my pleasure. It's an honor to welcome Matt Oakley to Oscar Mike Radio. Matt, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Thank you.
I'm doing well. I just want to start this off by saying I wasn't aware that you're a veteran yourself, so I want to say thank you for your service.
Matt, thank you for being a great American, and just by virtue of your song, whatever, this is going to be a great conversation. I'm pleased to have you here, and thank you so much. So,
yes, sir. Happy to be.
Great. So we got a lot of good stuff to cover, Matt. Your music career and being a military kid, what that was like. So I got to kind of do this different. We're going to start with the music stuff first, because your song that we're talking about, Soldier Son, kind of encompasses the whole experience. So tell us all how you got into music, and what is it about music that you like?
Yeah, so I'd say it took me a while for myself to actually get into the process of making music, but music's always been a super big part of my life. And growing up, I have two sisters, and being a military brat, we moved around a lot. So there was constant road trips, there was constant travel, there was always time to fill, and even just being around the house. And so both my parents just constantly had music playing on, whether it was a little boom box or we'd listen to the radio and play music trivia in the car. And so it was always a part of our life, directly and indirectly. So once I got to college and I had some downtime, and the quarantine kind of put us in the house, I was allowed to kind of dive into that in a way that allowed me to explore actually creating music and how I would want my sound to sound. And after that, it just kind of took a life of its own, and I've met some great people in the industry, and I've got no complaints. I'm nothing but blessed, and I'm happy to be where I'm at.
Okay, Matt, we're going to get this question out of the way. And I don't know if Anna told you about this question, but I ask every artist who's been on Oscar Mike Radio this question. And I don't play favorites. The fact that you're a military kid is irrelevant in this. We got to get this out of the way.
Let's do it.
All right. Music, just learning an instrument is a lot of work, right? Ton of work.
Yep.
Ton of sacrifice and commitment. And people don't understand. And you can slave away for years and not get anywhere. But you've heard about how the Beatles and Neil Young and Prince all sold their catalogs for a crazy amount of money. I think Neil Young sold his catalog for $300 million. So here's the question, and I ask every artist, and here we go. Let's just say that I had a check right now for $300 million, and it would clear. And I gave it to you, Matt, and said, you know what? This check is yours, but you can never perform music ever again. You're done. Take the money and fast forward from tours and studio time and practice and nights being racked with angst about how you're going to get your feelings and emotion on song and all that stuff that goes with it that people never see. They just think you're out there just having a good time. You don't understand how much you've sacrificed and worked for. You can forego all that, take the money, and live the good life, but you can never perform again. Would you take the check, Matt? What would you do?
I can't even like create music on my own time.
No, you're done. You're done. You're off
Oh,
to never.
I don't think I could do it. I would like to, and that's so much money. That's like unfathomable amount of money, and that would take care of my family and everything. So that's where my mind's going. But at the same time, it's like it's hard. I'd be one if I had like it's like gun to my head. I got to answer right now. I'd probably say no, just because it's become so much. Like I do it every day, and it's like I don't really know what I would do. I feel like I'd get bored. Just I got that much money. I mean, you can find stuff to do, but I'd say no because I'd like to think that with the way things are going, it'll get to a point where it's maybe not 300 million territory, but it'll get to a point where I'm able to have a little bit of both as far as like the financial freedom and being able to do music. So I'd say I'd bet on myself and turn it down.
Anna, not one of your artists from Core PR has said they'll take the money. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where you're finding these people at, but they are dedicated to their craft. You've beaten me again. Not one of you will take the money. It's unbelievable. But that speaks to, the fact that this is not just something you're doing for fun. Like this is you. This is part of your life. This is a makeup of who you are. And so that leads me to my next question. You have different parts of the music experience, touring, practicing in the studio, songwriting, testing out new instruments and kits and sounds and stuff. And I found out because, I took piano lessons, but I'm nowhere near what I would consider an artist in this space, right? I understand the struggle, right? But what's the most favorite part of that? Because some people like one aspect a lot, and some people don't. I've met people who are like, you know what, I will perform, but I really like being in the studio a lot more than getting on stage.
Yeah.
And some people are like, no, I could be on stage every day the rest of my life. So what's your favorite part of this whole process?
I definitely say in the studio. I think, and what I tell people all the time is like the thing that I would say like gets me going, or it's like the one thing that drives me in this space is there's something so cool about being able to sit down in a room and create something that didn't exist an hour ago or 2 hours ago. And then for the rest of my life or the rest of eternity, really, it just exists. It's something that you made, and it's a form of your like emotions or a story that you wanted to tell, and you've given it to the world, and it didn't exist and it couldn't exist without you sitting down and making it. So there's something that's like almost addicting to the creative aspect of it, where performing will always be fun and being able to show people like, look, I made this. But what makes performing so fun and what makes that performance so enjoyable is the fact that it's something that's a part of you that you've created. So I'd say the sitting down in the studio and creating something is my favorite part by far.
Nice, nice. Do you have a favorite instrument? Or do you prefer singing over playing an instrument? I'm always curious about that because some people, the guitar is a staple. They love that. Some people just love being able to get out there and belt out their
Yeah.
songs.
I'd say, I mean, it's always, if you like, I had a preference if I'm just going to sit down and either like have fun or come up with an idea, definitely just pick up the guitar and see where I can take it. As far as the sound goes, my favorite instrument would definitely be pedal steel. Like the way that you can make a pedal steel cry in country music and really make it fill those gaps in an emotional way. I think the pedal steel is the coolest instrument. I can't play it. I haven't learned. But I'd say as far as like picking it up and just playing it, just the combination of singing and playing the guitar like in a campfire setting is cool to me.
So we're talking, speaking of ideas and how you come up with ideas, we're talking about your newest song, which is called Soldier's Son. And it is a really interesting story that, learning about you, how this song kind of came to be and, the inspiration for this song. But take me deeper. When you started sitting down and started this idea started coming to your mind, how did that happen that you're like, you know what, I really want to tell people the story of my experience watching my dad put on his uniform, serve our country, and living that. And the reason I ask that, Matt, is a lot of people don't talk to the children of those who've served our country, whether they're active duty or veterans. They're just along for the ride. So it's really interesting that you took this approach.
Yeah, I think in all honesty, like I feel like the best form of my songs come from just authentic experience. And I've realized after writing, it's a lot easier to write a song that's just true to self and true to form. And so I was actually over at my dad's house. He was out of town and he asked me to go take care of our dogs. And I drove over there, and their kennels are in his office. And in his office, he's got all these pictures from when he first joined the military to when he retired. And it's just like a wall full of pictures. And he's got the flag he was given at his retirement. He's got like medals that he's collected. And I was just in there and I was looking at all that stuff. And he's done so much for me it's always hard to be like, what can I gift somebody who's meant so much to me and done these things for me and raised me the way that he has. And I was like, I feel like the best way I can do that is just write something for him. And I didn't plan on it being some song I released. It was just, I want to create this for him. And I originally planned on gifting it to him for like Father's Day or his birthday, and just being like, here you go. Like, this is like a thank you. And then when I finished writing it, I was just like, this like has a place in the world. It like has a place in my catalog, I feel like. And I took it down to Nashville and finished off writing it with my producer and some writers. And we were just like, it just felt so good. And I took it back and I told him about it and I played it for him. And the first couple times my dad heard it, he cried just because it's so much like about, the verses are so much about he and I, and like how.
Now take me there. What's
Yeah.
what's going on when you say, hey dad, I want you to hear something? And parents hear their kids practice and they
Yeah.
go to their shows and they're there even when we're not doing, it's not going well, the parents still clap for you or whatever. But
Yeah.
how was this time? Had to be a lot different, right, Matt?
Yeah, for sure.
So take me through that.
Yeah, so I came over to his house and I was like, hey, I got something I want to show you. And he was like, what is it? And I told him, I was like, oh, it's a song I wrote like about you and about your service. And it's just kind of like a tribute and a thank you. And he was like, oh, let me hear it. And I was like, oh, like I'd rather just like play it in my car and just like he and I. And he was like, oh, just play it over the phone. Like I've showed him a bunch of songs in the past. He was like, oh, just show me it. I was like, no, like it'd be cooler if like we just listened to it one-on-one. And so we went out and sat in my car, and the first line of the song, so he was in the Army for 22 years. And the first line of the song is, he spent 22 years in the Army. We talked Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. And like, from there, he was like, okay, this is like about us. So we're sitting there. And then the chorus is just all the things like fly the flag in your front yard as high as you can, except for when we lose one, defending the land, like fly at half mast. And it's all the things that he taught me. And when I really got him was when he was deployed overseas, he used to send us these cassette tapes with his voice telling us bedtime stories. So my mom would then play them for my sisters and I. And so the start of the second verse says, those cassette tapes he mailed home, I rewind them all night long, because when I closed my eyes, it felt like he wasn't gone. So it's like, I feel like so many people can relate to that, especially for people who have parents who are deployed and they're not around. It's like just those little things. I think that's like a testament to how close you want to be to your loved ones, and how the military, as it's the greatest sacrifice someone can make, the ins and outs of feeling like that person's not there in that moment. And so it's just like, we're sitting there and he's in his 60s now and I'm grown up, but it took us back to that moment when I was just a little kid and he was doing what he was doing overseas and serving our country. And it was just like, okay, you did that. Like that part of our life is done, but it doesn't mean that it's not like thought about and appreciated. So it was just a super special moment, and I'm super, super excited to be able to get it out and give it to the world, because I think, like I said, it has a place in the world musically, and it has a place in the world for military families.
Well, it just really struck me, looking at your website, reading about this, reading what Anna sent me. I'm like, you just don't see this very often. I mean, I thought about it. Like, I've talked to several veteran music artists who've talked about their experience through their songs, but not really from a child or son's perspective, between a son and a father. And, as a father, I've got three sons myself. They haven't served in the military, but, there's been experiences we've had that bind us forever. And to your earlier point, like, this isn't like a song or a reel or a TikTok. This is something that can be given to other people who've gone
Yeah.
through what you've gone through. And so, what do you think the reaction is going to be when we're dropping this right before the song airs for the first time? What are you hoping the reaction will be, Matt?
So as far as like hoping the reaction, I don't ever try and like hope for or anticipate a
Okay.
reaction, just because it's like everyone takes it differently. And that's the thing that I like about music, is I want one person to play it and feel some way, and then another person to play it and feel a different way, like that's personal to them. And so what I will say, I had the opportunity to play the song acoustically at the Sunbelt chapter for the AUSA, the 249th Army's birthday. There was a couple hundred people in attendance, and Gold Star families were there. And these are families who have lost a loved one in combat.
Yeah.
And we decided to tribute the song to them and to my father. And we had, I want to say 20 members of Gold Star families, 20 to 25. And my father was there in attendance as well. And after the song, I had these parents coming up to me who have lost their kids. And one gentleman had dog tags of his son who passed in war. And he was just thanking me. And it was like, why are you thanking me? Like, thank you, thank your son, like his sacrifice. And it's moments like that, like when you say not making a song for a reel or a TikTok, like there was none of that ever came into my mind with this song. It was just give the world like this piece of my life that meant so much to me. And I've already, after playing it for these families, have seen how much it's meant to them. And since then, I've been asked to perform it at the national chapter and stuff like that. And so it's like the response is so organic, and I think that's because the song was written so organically.
For sure, for sure. So the song is coming out tomorrow, September 12th. How can people listen to it? Can people support you, and really, understand the message in the song, please, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. So my music's on all platforms. It's on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, like wherever you get your music, you'll be able to find it. You can find all my stuff at Matt Oakley Music on any social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So I always link my songs all on those things. So if you're having trouble finding it for whatever reason, it's just on every platform. It's just Matt Oakley. And then if you any link you find will take you to my link tree, and that's got whatever platform you use to listen to your music. You can find it there. So it'll be out at midnight, and then from there, it's the world's, and the world can click it, play it, like it, dislike it, whatever they want to do with it. So
You've come out with this song. What's next for you in your career? Is this song going to be part of an EP or your next album, in terms of,
yeah.
How are you going to do touring? How's that going to look?
Yeah, so this song is a part of my debut studio album that I've recorded down here in Nashville. I've since moved to Nashville to continue working, and everything's just been such a roller coaster in the best way. And I'm super grateful for it. So when we were deciding which songs we wanted to put out before the album came out, it was like, let's actually think about this, and let's see which ones we think are the most important to exist on their own. And this song felt like one of those ones where it shouldn't just be put on an album without its own dedication. And so this song comes out, and then I think I got one or two more, and then hopefully at that point, we got a date for the album and the project. I think it's 14 songs, if I'm not mistaken. It's all live band in studio here in Nashville with some of the best players in the world. So it's kind of surreal that we've gotten to this moment for me, because it's like you said, it's been years of putting in the time and learning. And in the beginning, I was just bad. It wasn't that the ideas were bad, or that it was just like, it was hard to figure out how to put it all together. And over the course of a couple of years, and over the course of meeting some of the best people I've met in my life, and the support from my family and my friends and even strangers who have bought in, um, I'm just super grateful. And to be able to talk to you about a song that I've dedicated to my father, that's coming out, that's public, that's leading up to an album. It's just step back for a moment and realize how blessed I am, and how grateful I am. So I'm really proud about what we've put together, and I'm proud of myself and my team and everyone who's been behind me through this journey. So I'm super grateful and looking forward to getting this project out.
Well, it's a pleasure to get to talk to people like yourself, especially with the military connection. And yeah, you're a civilian, but the fact that you took the time to, you know, write more than just a song, this is like a legacy of your father's service, and your relationship just speaks volumes for what this is going to do for other children of military families and their parents. Um, we're winding this down. Last one or two questions. A lot of veterans I've met in the Nashville area are trying to start or get their music careers going. And, some of them, understand the game and they're working through it, but some of them sometimes get really frustrated. Like, I cannot believe that playing guitar is this hard. So I'm curious, because I ask artists like yourselves, what would you tell? Because I don't know what to tell them. I'm like, I don't know anything about Nashville really. I understand in my world that this took time to, like you said, get the competence and the proficiency to find your groove and stick with it. But what should I tell, or what would you tell a veteran who is, they got out of the military, they're trying to reboot their life, they've picked up their instrument or their voice, they're trying to make it work, and it just seems like there's just a tall mountain to climb to get to that point?
I would say be realistic. It is a tall, like, understand the fact that it is a tall mountain, and the only way you climb that is if you truly, truly love it, and you truly know that it's what you want to do. Because when I sat down to, I've taught myself guitar over the last couple of years, and when I started, it literally was that for the first time I picked it up, I was like, I can't learn it. Like, there's no way that I can get my fingers and my brain to connect in a simultaneous way. But I loved it so much, and I knew how much I wanted to. So I just went to Guitar Center. I bought a guitar, knew nothing about it, and then just started. And it was days and days and I'm looking back at old videos, and it was just bad. And it's like, let yourself suck at it for a little bit. Let yourself, if you truly love it, just love every part of it. Love the parts where you're bad. Love the parts when you learn just a little trick. And then over time, one day you'll be like, oh, I did it. I learned it. And then you start improvising, and then you start doing that. So I'd say, first and foremost, you got to love it. Second, be realistic. Realize it's going to take a little bit of time, but as long as you love it, you're having fun. It's nothing. It's no different than going to the gym or going to a sports game. Like, if you truly enjoy it, you'll know, and if you don't, you'll know as well. And then the last thing, and I think the most important piece of advice I'd give any musician, just be true to yourself. Just be authentic, and don't be scared to embrace the fact that you do love it, and the fact that it's something that you dedicated your life to at this point, or whether it's a year or a month. Just be true to you, and don't be scared of being vulnerable, because I think the best musicians are the ones that aren't scared to embrace who they are and where they come from, and the values that they carry. So I'd say just love it, be you, and be realistic in the fact that it's going to be a little bit of a ride, but you're going to get through it as long as you love it.
If you don't mind, I'm going to quote you going forward, Matt Oakley,
Okay.
let yourself suck, because that's really a
Yeah.
powerful statement. Well, for me in podcasting and working in vocal work and other things, I couldn't be afraid to be bad at it for a while. I just had to own it. Like, you know what? Yeah, man, my first 40, 50 episodes were absolutely trash. They were. And I had to own it to get through, to get better at it. And I think you hit on something. A lot of people, veterans included, because we're programmed to operate at a high standard. are afraid to be bad at anything, and it's like weakness and vulnerability. And I think there's a very powerful lesson to learn by saying, you know what, just embrace the fact you're going to be bad,
Yeah.
deal with it, and move on. So I just think that these kind of conversations, have so much benefit, and I wish you the absolute best in your musical career. I can't wait for your album to come out, and I'll definitely check it out. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, I know what I want to ask you last. Do you know who Jason Aldean is?
Of course.
What about Luke Bryan?
Yeah, I've heard these names a time or two.
Oh, okay. Well, see, here's the thing, Matt. I hadn't, because I'm a metalhead by trade. That's my
Okay.
jam. And so
Okay.
someone's like, "Hey, we're gonna meet Jason Aldean's dad."
Yeah.
Like, who's Jason Aldean? And I
That's
did it
crazy.
right in Nashville proper, Matt. And it was not received very well. I wasn't being disrespectful. I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
So I just
It
didn't.
doesn't get much bigger than those two.
Wow. So I really messed up, is what you're saying.
It's okay. It's all good. I'm
All
sure they forgave you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have the links to Matt's website and Spotify in the Oscar Mike Radio show post. I'm excited to have these kind of conversations, and you can understand a different part of the military experience from the child's perspective. Matt, all the best on your career. I hope you come back on when your album drops or you do something else. And thank you so much for coming on and talking with me.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the time, and it's all been reciprocated. It's likewise. So I appreciate it as a good conversation.
Absolutely. As we say in Oscar Mike Radio, we're mission in flight. Matt certainly is. We're Oscar Mike, and you all have a very safe and happy day and weekend. Thank you.
Remember on and teach is our mission. We care about it and we do it every day. But I think there are things that just hit you and give you a reason to go on. The theme for our 2024 from Roots Across America is Live with Purpose. It just seemed to fit in with the vows of the wreath, the 10 attributes that we feel represent our United States military. I thought, what a great opportunity to put those two things together and show our kids through how we act some of the things that can make their lives better, their communities better, and by doing that, the country better. For me, Live with Purpose, I think, it's a mindset. Set some guidelines and then go out and purposefully make life different, make a change. It's an opportunity to set an example.
Thank you for listening and watching Oscar Mike Radio, where our active duty service members and veterans are in action and the mission is in flight. Oscar Mike Radio is an oversized load Co-Sinister One production. If you are a veteran or know a veteran who needs help, please dial 988 and press 1 for the Veterans Crisis Line.